So here we go, everybody. Welcome to the Kings of Anglia Track the Girls Talk podcast. I'm your host, as ever, Roscoe. I'm joined by my co-host and Town Women skipper, Blue Wilson. Of course, we're proudly sponsored by John Fowler Solicitors. Big up, Michael Kennedy. And, he's a special guest this week, and he's the man laughing in the background. Also joined by another special guest, Town goalkeeper, Sarah Quantrill. Always a pleasure to have you on. Going to start off with Blue first. How's things? Have you warmed up since the freezing cold afternoon in Cheltenham / Bristol? Because it wasn't in Cheltenham, it was in Bristol.
It was in Bristol, yeah. They just thought, let's make them travel a little bit longer. I have warmed up. I'm currently in my office, and it's hot in here, actually. Radiators are on full blast, and I'm like, I'm taking full advantage. I'm going back home tonight, and the house is empty, and the heating's been off. So it's going to be a cold one, I think. But I've recovered. A little bit tired this morning, but I'm sure we all are. But glad I made the trip because it was a good one.
It was indeed. We've not just got one guest, we've got two guests. I'm going to first go over to Sarah Quantrill, the queen of the clean sheets. Sarah, welcome back to the show. It's been a while. It's been a year. We were looking back in the green room. It's been a year. You were our first ever proper guest in the studio. So welcome back to the show.
Thanks. It's an honour to be back.
Like it. I like
That's
it.
all I'm sitting here. Good,
yeah.
Sarah.
Yeah. Like and of course we're gonna delve in deep in that whole year that's been, Sarah, since you've been on. A lot's happened on and off the pitch. But then of course the final guest this week is the man who's sort of helping this podcast record every week by sponsoring it. Michael Kennedy, always a pleasure, my friend. Also, is it Kit Travel sponsor as well? And you explained, but welcome to the show.
Partner, I think, is the in the contract, mate.
Very nice. But how are you, my friend? You good?
Yeah, all good. I've actually just about warmed up after Cheltenham / Bristol. Easily the coldest I've ever been at a football game. Easily.
Yeah, since by the way, I don't know if it's been where you guys live, like in Kesgrave and Suffolk, where I live. It's been hot today. Like
it's
the
been warm.
temperatures. It's weird, isn't it?
So warm.
It's weird. Like you think when we were on the coach travelling down to Bristol in Cheltenham, there was snow. So that's probably why we know the game was never going to be on in Cheltenham, because there was snow everywhere. It was like winter wonderland. It was my worst nightmare, if you heard last week. I like the look of snow, but it just looks, it doesn't look horrendous. But there we go. We've got a jam-packed show, of course. The final game of 2022, which ended in a 2-0 win at Cheltenham. We've got a nice 10 questions feature. Of course, this week we've got 2 of them. So nice mixed questions. And of course, we're going to sum up 2022 in our own words, from myself, from Blue to Sarah and Michael. Blue, let's have a little catch up with Sarah, because, it's been a year since she's been on. A lot has happened since then. Sarah, I'm just going to flash back to the Southampton game. We watched the World Cup final on the coach home, penalty shootout, and, Martinez in goal made a lot of saves. But for me, I just had flashbacks of your performance. How do you remember that?
Oh, it was a good game, wasn't it? To beat our rivals on penalties and knock them out of the cup was a pretty good feeling. I think you saw everyone's reaction afterwards. Everyone was just buzzing. And to save the penalties to help us win it was even better.
And I'm sure you would have been asked this question before. Have you ever been in a penalty shootout before, or at that stage of a competition?
No, I think that's probably the first I've been in one that actually means anything. I had a lot of pressure on it. But we done our research, so we were ready for it, which helps.
Yeah,
Did you write down on the bottle, or did you just remember the research? I can't remember how it worked. Or actually, wasn't it that all the players got subbed off that you've done the research on?
So Jack done the research on where the penalty takers go. So I thought, I'll never remember, so I'll just write it down on a bit of paper and stick it to my bottle. But I remember as extra time was going and the game was going through, these players were getting subbed off. So when the whistle went for penalties, I looked at the bottle and I think there was only 1 or 2 of the players left on. I was, now it's just starting to luck.
Now it's instinct, Sarah, not luck.
I'll take instinct.
Definitely. Yeah, what a day. Michael, as a sponsor / supporter, that was a great day. And I know you love your goalkeeping as well, goalkeeper union, all that. I'm sure that must have been a great day, as well, seeing Sarah make those saves.
Absolutely unbelievable. I mean, I stood over in the corner with Theo by the clubhouse, and that save got made. Theo will attest to this. I jumped, celebrated, screamed, and immediately pulled my groin upon landing. So, not like it was a mix, but so happy we got through. And then, yeah, it was just as a fan and as a then sort of fledgling sponsor, mate. It was just unbelievable.
Awesome. And for the listeners, Theo Bennyworth, he's the head of sales, academy sales,
and just all round good bloke.
Yes, good bloke. And
Lovely
if you are
guy.
listening, Theo, hope you're doing well. I know he's been in Argentina recently, so I'm sure his wife and all his wife's family are loving currently because of the World Cup win. But yeah, there we go then. Well, let's jump right into the Cheltenham game then. A nice weekend as a whole, a nice little hotel trip for us all. Very cold, of course. But Blue, hard fought win, 2-0 win. Boz got the goal that she sort of got last week, but we all knew it hit the defender's header and went in. But this week actually did go in, and of course Anna Gray with 8 for the season to make it 2-0, but a hard fought win.
Yeah, very much so. Conditions bad, obviously, for both teams. I remember Bonnie came off and she was like, I think that was the coldest I've ever been in a football match. And that's saying something because I think Bonnie's played a lot of football. So that's how cold it was. I think it was a mixture of the rain and the wind, and it was constant. I don't know how you dealt with it, Sarah.
I was so cold. I couldn't even feel my fingers the second half.
I mean, it's not ideal coming from your goalkeeper, but you still made some great saves.
Thanks. I changed my gloves at half time because the girls were like, "Oh, have you got dry ones?" Like, yeah, these are dry ones. They were like, "Oh, like that's quite clever." And I was like, "Well, it's like nearly 30 years of experience. I've learned the hard way."
Yeah.
So do you often have like multiple changes of goalie gloves? Do you have different ones for warm ups and during a game and stuff? It just depends on, and maybe even just pick different pitches like grass / like 3Gs and stuff.
I just got like 2 or 3 pairs in my bag, so if it is wet, then I can wear one for the warm up, one for the first half, and then one for the second half. Because obviously, once they get wet, you get cold hands, and then it's hard to grip the ball as well. Yeah. But I'll normally wear them for games, and then after they start wearing up, then I'll wear them for training.
That's good. And
that's a shout out as well, because he's the one that bought me them for the season. So give him
there we go.
Thanks for that one.
Big up MK, big up MK. And Sarah, like as Blue said, it was a very cold afternoon. And like, for some players, I know they must have been freezing, but they at least had a chance to run around. As a goalie, I know you had a few moments where you had to make a few saves, which we'll get into later. But how do you keep yourself warm? Do you just you can't really because it's freezing, but do you try as much as you can?
I just try and like do some side steps, do some jogging on the spot, and just trying to keep moving. And I think the more you think about it, the worse it is. So I just try not to think about the fact that I'm actually cold, and it's not too bad.
No. Luckily, this game, you did have a few moments where you had to actually make some saves. Because if it was like previous week against Portishead, you didn't have to do anything. But luckily, there was a few saves you had to make. Michael, as a supporter in the grounds, there was no clubhouse, so you couldn't get a tea, couldn't go inside just to warm up, which is a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. But yeah, how cold was it? / your thoughts on the win?
I mean, to be fair, looking at the league table, Cheltenham were. My feeling is that they're a dangerous side. They're going to take points off teams above them. I felt that they were very gritty, weren't willing to sort of accept that Ipswich had finished third in the league the year before. I mean, even the conditions were just so against. I mean, I spoke to Tash after, and she said dribbling was just unbelievably difficult because just the surface water that was starting to build up. But yeah, I mean, I was absolutely frozen. I mean, I was tempted to do a Kieran and go sit on the coach afterwards, but or even during, at halftime he disappeared, said, "I'll come back," and didn't. But it's solidarity. I was there with EK's dad. Bless up Chris from minute 1 to minute 90. But yeah, any exposed skin on me was just absolutely numb by the end of it. So hands, face, just needn't have been there. Couldn't feel them.
And EK's mum, good old Tracy King, she was there as well. She was she said her feet were just gone. They were just gone. She was dancing around, making sure to keep warm. So big shout out to all supporters who went. I know there's a few that went on the mini bus. So well done to you all to go down the Cheltenham. Blue, as Michael said, the conditions, of course, was for both sides. It wasn't just for us. It was also for Cheltenham. But a team that had just been newly promoted, I thought they played pretty well against us.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like Michael said, I think they were 3 points behind us. So if they'd won that game, there was a big sort of shift where they become level on points with us. So it was a big game. But first half, I thought we started really quick, especially with Boz's goal. I don't know whether she meant that. But as it was coming in, actually, I said on the bench, I was like, oh, that's a good ball, as it was in the air. And then suddenly it's in the back of the net. I'm like, oh, yeah, it was a good ball. So, yeah, fair play to Boz. She can have that one. And then first half, I just thought we should have scored a few more, actually. We had a few chances where I'm a bit like, oh, if we'd just taken less touches or shifted the ball there or got our shot off away quicker, it could have been a few more and it would have been a bit more comfortable hadn't we take those chances. But, we went through it the tricky way, and Cheltenham definitely had a spell in the second half where they really came at us. Sarah had to pull off some great saves. There was definitely a camera saver in there, by the way, tipped over the bar. I was like, oh, yeah, she's done that one for the cameras. Probably couldn't feel your fingers at that point either, so didn't realise the board touched you.
No, I didn't. I couldn't.
There we go. But and then Anna sort of finished it off and made the last sort of 5 minutes remaining a lot easier and a lot more comfortable for us on the bench. So it was a great win, and it feels good going into Christmas off the back of a win compared to last year.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to bring you in, Sarah, actually, about those saves. Sorry that I didn't get it on camera. Probably at that stage, I was trying my best to just not do anything, trying to keep my hands warm as long as possible. And I looked up and, oh, okay, nice save. Well done, Sarah. I want to quickly get some insight on a player's point of view in terms of being like at half time. So 1-0 up, it's very cold. What do you do at half time to try to get yourself warm, get yourself ready for the second half? Do you know it's going to be another 45 minutes in this weather?
For the truth, EK got a hairdryer, right? And we were hairdrying ourselves to get warm.
Like that?
That's the truth. We were putting up our tops just to try and get some hot air. And it actually helped, to be fair. Coming out into the second half, after we've done that, it felt good. But yeah, you just got to try and forget about it. Because I think if you think too much about that, then it takes your mind off like the job that you've got to do. But once you get out there and you start running around again, you soon warm up. Yeah,
because one bad thing, I've done this before when I've been at a game, is that I've gone to the toilet and I've actually put like hot water on my hands, and never do that. That kills you. So don't do that because it does.
We tried the hand dryer in the toilets, but the hand dryer was like warm, so it weren't really doing much. That's why we went to the hairdryer.
Fair play. Like that insight. Love that insight. Quick thoughts, Sarah, then on those saves, because Cheltenham came out and they put a lot of pressure on us. They had a few chances. As I said, you had that save. What can you remember of that like 15-minute period where Cheltenham were on top?
Yeah, I think we were struggling to get out because it was so like windy and just so wet, and I think they were just throwing everything at us. So like it just shows that we can hold on and we can defend well, and just ride the storm as such and come out strong at the other end. Yeah,
and Michael, I was actually in the stand where you guys were in the second half, and there was a few choice words, I have to say. What was your thoughts on that little period where Cheltenham were? Yeah, we had to ride that storm, as Sarah said, and they had a few chances, and they could have got that equaliser. Thankfully, they didn't, because a great save from Sarah and good defensive play from our defenders. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was one of those. I mean, as I said, they will take points off teams above them, and we did well to ride it. I mean, it was one of those where, I mean, just getting to in that spell, it was just you could. There's always that cynical part of my brain, which is like, yeah, they're going to level it. This is when it's going to happen. It's cold. It's miserable. We've got a long journey home. But, a few camera saves. I mean, I think Sarah would have been very, very happy with the cleano. It is what it is. It's ultimately, we'll come back, and ultimately when we play them again in the next time in the season, we'll know what we're up against, I'd like to think. Because ultimately, they didn't back down. And ultimately, it was only until sort of Anna got the second goal about 5 minutes from the end. I mean, they still looked threatening.
Yeah, they did. So you completely stop talking, Michael. Carry on. You're saying some good stuff. That's fine. That's fine.
I don't want to take the shine off you, mate. And
no, that's easy.
You are the goat.
Very easy. Really easy to say that. Blue. Let's talk about impact of the subs, because of course we had to make an early change. Rest up Summer Hughes. Of course, she had to come off injured with that. Not a great tackle, by the way.
It was horrendous tackle. It was so bad. I mean, how that isn't a yellow or more, yeah. I don't know. Maybe I need to learn to become a ref and see how they make these decisions, because that was horrendous tackle. She got her ankle. She showed her ankle after, and she had these literally. It must have been a minute after the contact. She had this massive bruise where the girl's studs had gone into her ankle, and she just jumps in. Oh, anyway, less said about that, the better, I think. But yeah, forced into a change. And I think that maybe affected us slightly because we had a lot of momentum at that point, and we were looking like we should score again. But that sort of change shifts things. It's not a like-for-like change in terms of Boz playing at right back then is different to what Summer provides at right back. So you have that shift and it's not planned. Maybe perhaps that changed things. But then I think we rode the storm perfectly well. There were times where I was on the edge of my seat, but at the end of the day, we came away with a clean sheet and a win. I think me being a perfectionist, I'd like to see us go up 3 or 4-0 up in the first half, and then the game's dead. We don't need to worry so much about them equalising or potentially taking points and stuff like that. But it's one to learn from, and I think all the girls are aware of how we could have played the first half better to make life easier in the second half for supporters, for us, for coaches, for everyone. So one to work on.
Definitely. And Sarah, we killed the game off at the end there. Of course, Anna scoring the goal, impact subs, as we mentioned, Peskett coming on and assisting another goal. I'm sure as a goalie, you're pleased to see the action on the other side of the pitch. And what was your reaction when Anna did get that goal and at 8 for the season?
I think it was relief as well, because obviously we knew we were under the pressure. So getting that 2-goal lead obviously takes some of that pressure away. But shout out to Pesk as well. I thought she was going to get her first goal back since she's back as well. But I think she even said she wasn't looking. She just hit it and then waited for everyone's reaction to see whether she had scored or not.
It was close. It was close.
So close. Yeah. She of course, had a few other shots that went wide and stuff like that. But yeah, it's good for her. It's good to see some of our players actually having some shots outside the box. And yeah, it was just good to see. Michael, also a shout out to, of course, Zoe Baza making her first start since returning from injury as well, which is good. But as we said earlier, it was just good that we got the win just before the Christmas break. This time last year, we were not very happy. We were deflated. Although we did go 12 games unbeaten in the league in our first ever season in Tier 3. This time around, though, we have got the win. Going into Christmas break, we all can enjoy our Christmases and New Year's with knowing we've got 3 points. Clean sheet for Sarah. Sarah, by the way, do you know how many clean sheets you've got in 46 games? This is a quiz question for you all. Have a little think. Listeners, have a think. So 46 games, how many clean sheets?
15.
15. That's incorrect. I know Blue and Michael. That's too low.
That is
Sarah.
so low, Sarah.
That's too low.
All right, 23.
Okay, 23. Blue, Michael, have a think. I've just given you advantage here of Sarah's completely incorrect there. I know you don't want to give yourself too much of a ego there, but you got to back yourself as well.
Is this in all comps? All
competitions, so 46 games. So you're getting close to your half a century, Sarah. I don't know when you're going to get that. Could be. Do you know what? Your half century could be actually the cup game, maybe. I don't know the fixtures.
I am going to go 27.
27. Okay.
I'm going to go 30.
30.
I've got faith in you, Sarah.
Yeah, I think it might be higher.
That's quite high.
29.
Ooh.
29 in 46 games. So there we go.
I've got another stat, actually, Sarah. I've got another stat for you.
No.
So in the league so far this season, you've conceded 7 goals, which is actually the second best in the league record-wise. Only Oxford are beating us on that department at the minute. So yeah, not bad. Not bad, hey?
Yeah, that's right.
And that was the opening 2 games as well. The opening 2 games we conceded 5 goals, is it?
Yeah.
So since then,
that's
only been 2.
Sorry. We're bringing that up on the season review show later on. But yeah, there we go. So it's a nice little stats there. But yeah, Michael, as we were saying, just good to end the year on a high. Everyone can enjoy their Christmases.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I had a chat with Joe on the way back, and he just said it's much more positive than this time last year, where, again, I think it was after the January period, sort of external to the FA Cup, it was a bit intermittent at points. But ultimately, it's just a feel good feeling going into the new year, and just continue building on what's been built already. To be honest,
definitely. I know we've got some shout outs to be made. Of course, a coach journey home. Sarah, Blue, take it away. You've got the shout outs, you've got the info. Take it away.
Do you want to show them actually, Sarah?
Yeah.
If
you're watching on video, you'll see
this little Christmas present, which is some little chocolates, then shower gel to keep us fresh after these wet away games from our supporters group. So we'd just like to say thanks.
Yeah, big thanks.
I think as Gemma Macon, who Matt Macon's wife, I think she actually designed it and put it all together. So big up Gemma for that. Yeah. And then below, I think one more shout out. I think. Yeah,
shout out to Connor Bennett. Hopefully he's listening. From BBC Suffolk, who bought us
our rivals.
but I mean, they did buy us chocolate, so yeah, it's fine. We'll allow it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's healthy competition. We scratch his back, he scratches ours, and we make sure we're not all treading on each other's toes.
Guy down and yeah. Terrible shoes, but yeah, good guy.
Yeah, definitely. Big up Connor Bennett. Okay, then it's time now to focus on Sarah Michael even more now with 10 questions with feature. Blue, we've switched up a few of the answers for both Sarah and Michael. So the first question is pretty similar, but it's on a different way. So Sarah is for football, Michael is for life. What have I said there? Michael's for life. You're for life, Michael. You and me, you're for life. There we go. But Sarah, yes, yeah. So we are getting deep. First of all, though, we are getting deep. And now, Sarah, what is the one thing you've had to overcome in football?
That's quite a difficult one. Probably when I was at Liverpool, being told at the end of the season that I wasn't going to be the number one anymore, and they were going to get a girl in from America who was then going to be number one. So I kind of had to make the decision where I was going to stick around or move back down this way, and then find a team back down here. So I obviously chose that I didn't want to hang around, just sit on the bench. So I came back to Norwich, and that's when I signed for Millwall.
What's by the way, I wanted to sort of add on to that question, which just came up now about say Nina. Nina, of course, Mialo. She travels week in week out, and she can help you warm up as well. But what sort of advice do you give her as a backup goalkeeper? And sometimes she is knowing she's not going to come on because only time she'll probably come on is if an injury. Hopefully not. Fingers crossed. Sarah, everything crossed. But yeah, what sort of advice do you give to a young keeper who is just going to be warming the bench, which is it's what it is. What at the moment one player can play in that one position.
Yeah, no, we have a good relationship. To be fair, she's always there for me. She obviously helps with the warm up. She's always saying well done and stuff like that. So I just try and help her in training and give her advice. And yeah, just I'm just grateful that she's happy to be the number two basically and just come along and help me out. Otherwise, I'd literally have no one to warm me up. So and the fact that we get on well helps as well.
Definitely, goalkeeper union and all that, and it's just the life of a goalie, though, isn't it? Because there's only one player can play in that position. So if it's you, if it's her, that's what it is. So definitely, and she's still a young kid, so I'm sure she'll grow in that.
Yeah, even the cup game when she played the other a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, she stood her ground. She done well, so I'll just support her when she plays as much as she supports me when I play.
Definitely, love that. Michael, then. Getting deep now, my friend. What is the one thing you've had to overcome in your life?
I mean, how squeamish are we? Because there's one thing which, a little known fact that I've almost gone almost heavily lost my vision or worse. Had to have a whole load of surgery when I was 16 and 18. Long and short of it, had to have my eye lenses completely rebuilt while I was awake, which was particularly unpleasant, especially the first one, which was 8 hours. Fortunately enough, for the second lot of surgery, it was only an hour and a half. But yeah, that really did sort of play into a lot of things because obviously when I first got the diagnosis, there was no real known cure that I was particularly aware of. I was basically told your vision's just going to get worse and worse. Then, fortunately enough, a good couple of friends of ours worked for the NHS as eye consultants. They said, well, there's a surgery that's sort of just being piloted out. Would you consider going for it? And I was just like, well, yeah, but I mean, it's either that or I don't really want to think about it. But Yeah, then equally, as I touched on earlier, with the whole again, obviously nowhere near the levels of Sarah. I mean, used to playing goal when I was younger. There are some people who come on here and say, "Oh, I could have made it pro." Never the case with me. I was nowhere near that talented at all. But I think initially I was told, "Don't play football again. You can't take any blows to the head." I then completely ignored this and got knocked. Someone was telling me something, so I played 4 games, got knocked out in each from shots from close range. So yeah, I think at that point I kind of took the hint that football probably wasn't for me.
Wow.
Fair play. Fair play. Oh, getting really deep, Michael. So those eyes, right? You got in your eyes now. That's not a thing, is it? Are they actually? Are they? I don't know what that was. I don't know what that line was. Those eyes. What I'm trying to ask you now is, are they actually your real eyes, or have you had to? You know what I'm trying to ask you.
It's just the lens. It's just the lens. Yeah.
Yeah, just
Is
the
that
eye
right?
lenses have been completely rebuilt. But yeah, it is more or less, more or less as it was originally. Just the eye lenses have been completely rebuilt from the ground up.
And what's the recovery like from that surgery? Like, how do your eyes recover from that? Yeah.
I mean, initially, first, it was different for both ones because for the first one, the surgery was super new. It was a longer recovery time. That was best part of 3 to 4 months, and then obviously ongoing checkups. The second one was meant to be a month and a half, but I was probably like quite a lot of other people, where when you're told you've got to stay in bed, you can't do anything. I wasn't having any of that. I ended up I think it was about 3 weeks for the second one. Not sure if that was too early or not, but it was one of those. I just could, after a week of being like stuck in the house, I just couldn't take any more. Like, I just thought sod it, which was probably not particularly intelligent, but I can still see, so I guess it worked.
Definitely. I think for now on, Blue, I'll let you take the serious questions because I just my question there. That was dreadful. I'm sorry.
That was good, Ross. I liked it.
Yeah. That's what I bring. That's what I bring to this podcast. Just shambles, just shamblesness. But Blue, take it away. Next question for both of them.
Okay, you've both got the same one here, so I'll let you both think about it, and then whoever pops up first and wants to say it first, go for it. What is your ideal meal?
Roast dinner, 100%.
Okay, what roast are we going for here, though, Sarah? You got to specify.
Probably a bit of gammon.
Okay.
Yeah, just something different. Some roast potatoes, some sprouts. Controversial, but I like a sprout.
Okay.
What else? Bit of broccoli, some carrots,
Gravy.
Pudding. Yes, definitely gravy all over, so that Yorkshire pudding goes soggy.
You're hearing that, Kieran? Gravy.
Yeah. And a bit of stuffing if you're like.
Oh yes.
Stuffing as well.
Yeah, that's decent.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, you can't be a roast dinner. Currently now with where Christmas is around the corner, every day is now a roast dinner day, innit? I can't wait for this week. Is just.
Oh, Ross is frozen. This might be a lot.
Am I frozen?
Yeah.
You're back.
Back. I'm back. Am I?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Michael, over to you.
I've got to be honest. It's something that I've recently just tried, and it was a bit of a topic of discussion over the weekend. But I had a turkey Wellington, and oh my god, that is probably one of the best things I've ever had. A few veggies, bit of gravy, bit of cranberry sauce. Oh, unbelievable!
Once again, gravy. No dry
I'm
turkey
starting
Wellington.
to think that Kieran's the only person who doesn't like gravy on things.
Charlie Baxter. When we had roast dinner at Plymouth, he didn't have gravy. I just looked at him and went, "What are you doing?" He just very, very, very weird. So I just went, "Charlie, go over there with Kieran. Just go over there with them." We had a table for the people having loads of gravy. Joe was there, Nicola was there, one of the physios was there, and Jack was there, and we're like, "What are you doing?" He was looking for ketchup. But just interesting. Yeah, that is the word. Okay, then move on from that. Roast dinner, turkey Wellington, good, like that. Now it's time. Dream holidays. Sarah, where? I'm Michael, of course. Dream holiday. Where do you fancy going in the world?
I quite fancy the idea of Australia, just because it's got the nice beaches, it's got the hot weather, and it's just somewhere that's like always appealed to me to go there. But
Nice.
it'd be cool to learn how to surf and navigate surfing as well.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Why
for
not?
sure. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Michael?
Solid. I'll probably have to say Maldives. It just looks absolutely incredible. I know I feel that's like the generic Instagram thing, but I've got to be honest, it just looks incredible.
Yeah, the rooms with the sort of steps down into the water. Yeah, it does look good. It does look good.
Save up your pennies, though. Save up your pennies.
Yes.
A lot of money to go there. A lot of money to go there. Australia's doable. So that's yeah. So yeah, but good options. I like that. Blue, I'm next.
Up next, which other sports do you enjoy?
I like most sports, to be fair. Probably since the London Bees game where we were sitting on the bench watching the F1. So I've kind of grown into an F1 fan.
Good, Sarah. Very good from you.
Yeah, I think Lucy O'Brien's probably the reason for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Speedway as well. I don't know if any of you ever seen it. It's like where they're on bikes and they go around on like trail and dirt. So my family have always been into that. So yeah, I quite like watching that as well.
Have you seen the Ipswich Witches ride?
Yeah, but I'm a bit of a Kings Lynn fan, so that's like their rival. So we won't.
He's a rival.
Yeah.
It's fine, but you that's where you're based, aren't you? So
yeah. My family
your
always.
local team.
Yeah, my family have always gone to like watch them ride. So yeah, have to back the Kings Lynn.
Yeah. Little fun fact, by the way, I've actually been on the centre green to take pictures, and it is a bit scary actually because if they could easily crash on that green, I've actually seen a crash happen, and the rider. But then the rider got up, like he crashed, and he's and it is a very dangerous. They have no brakes. These speed riders, it's mad. It is mad. It's so, they put their life at risk every time they ride because they are going so. Yeah, it's a crazy sport, but fair play to them.
Yeah.
Did you get? Go on, Ross.
No, you go.
Did you get pictures of the crash, or were you too worried about?
No, I got stuck in. I got the picture.
You were like, yeah, my life is worth this picture.
It is. But no, big up them. And as Sarah mentioned earlier, there's a lot of Australian speedway riders as well. Like in Kings Lynn and the Ipswich Witches squad, there's probably a good 3 or 4 Australians. So I don't know why. Maybe Australians just love speedway. Love just. To be fair, they are nutters, aren't they?
They are
nutters, as well and all that. But yeah, I like that. But would never expect us to talk about speedway. We used to do a speedway podcast on Kings of Anglia on the broadcast here, but we don't do it anymore. But there we go. Michael, can you top? Bit of speedway, bit of Formula One. What's your sport?
See, I'm going to have to go with F1. Since I've been traveling with you guys, I've really got into it and understood it. I mean, even during pre-season, spent a lot of time round at Kieran's, actually him teaching me how it actually all works. I still don't understand it, but it's a hell of a spectator sport. It really, really is.
I don't care for it, to be honest, so whatever.
Well, I know that, Ross. When myself and Kieran were watching it, I offered to buy you a drink, thought, you might stay around, and you just went.
No, I swear, don't care.
Favourite driver,
it's another
Michael?
dangerous sport.
Yeah, very dangerous. Favourite driver, Michael? Do you have one?
Ocon. I feel
Ocon, that is rogue.
I feel Sabine. I know, but I just think that if you go with the generic, the Hamiltons, the whole, regular lot who were usually, well, not so much sort of this season, but previous years who are up there, I feel it's a bit boring. You want an underdog. You want someone just to come in and just absolutely flip the script.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't think it will happen, but here's the hoping.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about now, so let's move on to the next question.
On to the next one.
On to the next one. Now, Sarah, Michael, if you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Mine would be to fly. I hate queuing, so and I do a lot of travel as well. So just to jump in, just be able to fly would be so much easier.
You get to Australia quick, definitely.
Yeah,
doing that.
And cheap as well.
Very
Yeah, it would be
very
cheap.
cheap. How would you involve that with your goalkeeping? How would that? Don't know.
That'd help make saves, wouldn't it? I could like fly into the top corner and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and like fly out to the ball if someone was coming to a 1v1, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good point. You could also once you had the ball in your like say you've got the ball in the box in your hands, you could then fly up
Yeah.
and
Like
then kick it from there.
someone's head or something.
Or drop it, yeah. Well, be quite useful. What about you, Michael?
But also
I'm gonna say-
don't get the ball out of the box.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's got to be in your box still. But yeah, Michael, carry on.
I'm going to say telepathy, and the only reason for that is, Ross, you're no longer telling me when you're doing your driving tests. And I feel that, you know, it's something that we need to know, mainly because, as you are aware of, eventually when you do pass, whenever that may be, you've got to take a drink for every time you've attempted, let's say. And I need to know what that number is.
As long as someone else is buying, Ross, it's all good.
Yeah, it's fine. You know me. I'm a cheap night out. So any free alcohol is a plus for me. So thank you very much. But once again, Michael, you use it for other things as well. You use it for good, not for me. You know, just use it for good. You know, once again, it needs to work in your favour as well, not just to make sure yeah.
I mean, telepathy would really work from a business perspective. I mean, especially when you're negotiating, you'd love to. I mean, especially, when inevitably I'm sorting out the next ITFC deal, knowing what's on offer would be, really helpful with that in mind, or knowing bluntly what could potentially be asked for. I mean, I had some potentially. I didn't think they were weird requests, but I think I'm the only sponsor to ask for extra tracksuits for the likes of Regan.
Yeah.
Mm.
Shout out to good old Regan as well. Good old
Yeah,
Regan. Of course, our intern who does the videos and all that sort of stuff. So big up to him as always. Balloon, next one.
Next one. Okay, we've got a split one here. So I'll ask you yours first, Sarah, and then Mike, I'll come to you with a different one. Okay, so Sarah, if you were stuck on a desert island with 3 teammates, who would you choose to be with?
I'd say you. I would say if you're intelligent.
Yes.
But after you said you only got 2 out of 16 in the quiz, I'm not sure.
I know.
But I'll stick with you if you're intelligent. So you could probably come up with ideas of how we could survive and stuff.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Sarah.
No probs. Plus, you told me to pick you for one of the answers, so there you go. And probably Nina as well. Sticking with the GK Union, just because she's so funny. She could easily be the entertainment.
Yeah.
Then someone like Tash, who's quite strong, who could help bring logs and help build some shelter and stuff like that. So I'll go for you.
Okay. Good squad. It's a good squad. And Michael, we'll go to you for yours. What actor would play you in a movie about your life? Difficult question, I think. It's difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I always got told as a kid I looked like Will Ferrell when I was growing up. I have no idea if that's the case or not, but I think I'd have to say, and this is a bit of a weird shout, I'd probably say John Barrowman. He looks nothing like me, but as a kid, when I was watching him on TV, I thought he was the coolest guy ever.
Okay, fair enough. I think Ross is now searching him up.
No, not at all.
I can't picture him actually.
Yeah, see, I had to picture him. Yeah, what's he done? He's a presenter as well. He does stuff, doesn't he? Yeah, Torchwood and all that.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought you were talking about John Goodman. For some reason, I was like, oh, he's going to be the one who plays you the older version, but that's completely someone different. But Sarah, actually, I think I've asked you. I'll ask you this question, Blue. But Sarah, an add-on question: what actress? EK went a bit random. She actually did an actor. I think. What did she say? Will Ferrell?
She said Will Ferrell. Yeah.
Indeed.
Which there's no rules to this question, but
There isn't, no.
But Sarah, about your life, who do you want to play you?
Oh wow, I don't know. God, that's a hard question. I'm not prepared for this question.
Yeah, sorry. Once again, I've just thrown it to you. Sorry about that. I haven't prepped you for it, but that's what we do on this show. We throw. Yeah.
I don't know.
We can come back to it if you want. We can come
Let
back
me
to
think
it.
about it. We'll come back to it.
We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. Great. Next question for both of you. What's on your bucket list of things you want to achieve?
Not necessarily achieve, but to do a bit of skydiving, like jump up a plane. I think that'd be a really cool experience. Although the thought of that scares me, but apparently it's amazing. Like when you jump out and you can the first view and everything is pretty cool. So it'd be pretty cool to do that.
Apparently it's addictive, skydiving. Quite a lot
Isn't
of
it?
people, yeah, a lot of people find it addictive. That adrenaline rush of jumping, and then I'm not sure it's for me, but
yeah, like the thought of actually jumping out of the plane scares me. But I think once you're out, I think it'd be pretty cool experience.
Michael?
Nothing quite as terrifying as that. I mean, the idea of just seeing the grounds just coming really fast at me and hoping my parachute's actually been set up correctly would absolutely terrify me. I mean, it's something that I'm trying to do at the moment where I think it might have been you, Blue, during pre-season, put a picture on Instagram saying, "Can Red Bull please sponsor us?" And Kieran's basically put a bet on that if anyone can do it, it's me. I did get in contact with someone from Red Bull about a potential hookup. It's gone a bit quiet, but I'm hoping, because at the moment, obviously, I think the only thing I bring to the team on an away trip is just a sheer number of Red Bulls. I think that's it. Out of my own money, I really wish to stress that. That's not a company expense.
Now, Michael, so in anything in life on your bucket list is to be sponsored by Red Bull.
Or to get that sorted out for Ipswich. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
be selfless, mate. Be selfless.
Yeah, that's your good answer. Now we want one for yourself.
Yes,
one for myself. So I don't really know. Well, I mean, skydiving's scary, but I'd imagine the buzz you'd get off the end of it would be absolutely incredible. I'd love to go deep sea diving, as deep as you can possibly go. But as I understand it, you need so much training for that. But I'd love to do that.
Good. Nice. That's a better answer. That's a better answer, Mark. That's what we're looking for. Those sort of answers. Not the other one. Not the other one. But like it. Blue, over to you.
Over to me. Okay, so both of you for this one. What is the one item you can't live without?
My car, definitely. I think I'd be lost without a car. So I'll stick with that.
Nice, practical.
I'll have to join you on that. I would be so lost without mine. Absolutely, just horrendously lost.
No comment.
I wasn't even a dig at you, Ross.
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past Michael, but yeah, it's what it is. But yeah, once again, always got to be a practical one item into it. At the moment, as everyone knows, it's moisturizer for me. But when I do learn how to drive, I'm sure a car will be up there because I've been told it is very useful to get to places. so there we go. But well done, being practical once again like that. Okay then, the final question before the big question, where we're going to find out if Sarah and Blue will be Sarah and Michael allowed on the pod again. We'll see. But before that, what is the song you've got on repeat at the moment?
It's got to be a Christmas song, hasn't it, at the minute, because of the Christmas season. So I'll go with the Pogues. I love a bit of the Pogues.
Okay. Michael?
So I'm not really one for Christmas music. I can understand, at a party or whatever, great, but if I'm just driving along, it's usually, my music taste, Ross. It's not the greatest, as I've been told, but I'd say at the minute, on repeat, I've got Are You Entertained by Russ and Ed Sheeran on loop. Absolutely love that song.
Fair play. And by the way, some insight on the coach home from the Colchester to Ipswich route, because we do drop-offs. There was Christmas, what would you call them? Christmas... What? No, it's not Christmas songs, but they're Christmas nativity or
Oh yes, Nativity, the movies, the
Yeah.
songs from the movies where the kids are singing it. Oh, I'm not gonna lie, Ross. I had my headphones on, full blast, blocking that out.
Yeah, that was after like 3.5 hours, 4 hours on a coach, and that was like the last bit of songs that were being played. I think you're still on the coach at that point, weren't you, Sarah?
No, I think I got off at Colchester, so I think.
Okay. So it's just me and Blue and whoever
Yeah.
was left on that. It was painful.
I can imagine Laff was probably the ringleader for that.
Yeah.
Yes, she was. She was indeed.
Nativity though, the movies, great movies. They're up there for me. Christmas
it's like
movies.
Holy Night. Like Holy Night got played, I swear, and there was I don't know what. There's another songs.
Oh yeah.
Holy Night. Jesus. Literally. But yeah, that was interesting. But then I remember there was one away game when we were getting to a game, weren't there? Like another, like Laff played some other random music before, like an away trip.
Yeah, I think it's
we do one where we pick like 3 songs and she'll put them all in a playlist, and then we've got a guest who's picked that song. We've done that a couple of times.
Yeah. I saw we've had nursery rhymes played before, like, and just some weird choice of music, but yeah, it is what it is. But there we go. Okay then, Blue. Let's bring it home.
The big one. So we all know what's coming. Pineapple on pizza. Yes or no?
No.
You mad?
Well done, Sarah.
Definitely.
God.
Absolutely yes. If
Okay,
anything,
we've got
mushrooms are
splits.
weirder.
Split decision here.
Well, Sarah, you're welcome back. Michael, it's been a pleasure, mate. See you later.
When pineapple pieces are getting picked off and just like left on the side, they're not getting eaten.
There you go. What's your answer behind it then? Why do you? Once again, are you doing the? It isn't your first choice, but you'll have it. But yeah,
But don't get me wrong. Anything other than a pepperoni isn't acceptable in my mind. But if it's there, I will happily have it. But I just think that I'm probably going to say something totally stupid here, but aren't like tomatoes classed as a fruit? And then people go, "No, you can't have fruit on pizza." Like,
different thing.
I don't get that argument.
It's different. You know,
how is it different, Ross? Tell me. Explain.
Because tomatoes are not like sweet, are they? Pineapple, like once again, you wouldn't put like a tomato in a fruit salad, like would you?
Good.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't.
So wouldn't. There we go.
That point.
Sometimes you put fruit with like a dessert. You're not putting tomato with dessert, are you? So
it's unlikely.
Like you won't put much pineapple on other meals, like proper like cooked meals, will you? So
sometimes you have gammon and pineapple.
Yeah, Sarah, are you having pineapple with your gammon?
I'd still just pick it off and leave it on the side.
Well done.
In that circumstance, I would probably agree, but yeah, I don't know. Not helping myself out here.
No. Once again, we'll have to look back, Blue, actually, now, because we are losing count. I think it is still 50-50, I think.
We'll go with that. It makes it more entertaining.
50-50, yeah. Very entertaining. But from this point forward, every guest, we are going to calculate it up. So I need to know, by the end of the season, all the guests we have, we need to know outright winner, because it is a topic on every podcast. Every conversation is pineapple and pizza and all that sort of stuff. But no, great. A great 10 questions with good answers from both Sarah and Michael. Now we'll get into the podcast with summing up 2022 in your own words. So me and Blue have done a review show, which will go out after this, of course. We've also got a big quiz with good old K-Dog actually live at the hotel in Cheltenham. So look out for that when that goes out. But to sum up 2022 as a whole, Sarah, it's been one hell of a year for the team. How would you sum it up?
I think it's been a pretty crazy year. I think it had the potential to deliver so much more than what it did. And I think the disappointing end to last season probably carried on to the beginning of this season. But I think we've now got past that, and hopefully we're on an up where we can get some more positive results and get another good run in the cup and hopefully start climbing up the league.
Definitely. Michael, as a sponsor, as a supporter, of course, the crowds are getting bigger. Euros, was massive in the summer. And sponsorship, I'm sure, has grown more and more competition for you to battle off. Now I'm sponsoring this, mate. Get out of the way. But yeah, how's it been 2022 as a whole?
I mean, on the footballing side, I'll agree with Sarah. I mean, last season may have been a bit disappointing, but that will quickly be forgotten if this season ends the way we all want it to. I think the Euros have certainly helped. I mean, I think, and I hope Sarah remembers this, but we mess up in pre-season when the gloves were delivered. And I made a couple of predictions. One of them that England would win the Euros. It happened. And that a certain goalie would get a golden glove during the Euros. It happened. I mean, that was part of my thinking when we were sort of sorting out the sponsorship for this season. But ultimately, I just thought it was one of those where having to explain it to others I work with, I actually really had to think about it in a way that I wouldn't anything else, because I knew in my head, it's like, yeah, this is going to be brilliant. This is going to really work for us. But then sort of trying to put it in non-emotional terms to those I work with and explaining why, you almost have to, hold on, I have to actually think about this slightly more and put it in terms of other than just come and watch and you'll understand it.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, Ross, you're muted.
God's sake.
Rookie.
Shambles of man. Once again, it's because my laptop is just exploding. You know, it's just the fan is just like a Hoover. So I'd rather let our guests have a free-flowing chat while I mute myself, but I just didn't unmute myself quick enough. But no, great to hear, Michael. Blue, we're going to do a review show, but for this pod, sum up 2022 as a whole as well.
I think it's been a year of building and rebuilding, and then building again, and then rebuilding again. Yeah, it's been tricky. I think it's been really tricky. I think we all know we've got a young squad, and this is their first sort of taste of competitive football and what actually senior football's like, and what it takes to get promoted, and what it takes to be successful. And we might lose people on the way, or we might gain a few. So it's really difficult, and I think a lot of people in our team have grown up over this year and learnt a lot. But when it comes down to it, I think this season we'll be doing everything we can and fighting to try and make last season's sort of almost failure into a positive. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, definitely. Well, what a show it's been, Sarah, Michael, Blue. Any other business as always? Starting off with you, Michael. Anything else you want to mention before you make your leave?
No, nothing particularly. Just, I guess, a huge... I mean, obviously, as a new sponsor, I just thank you to everyone who's just been so supportive and has bought into me and bought into John Fowler's. So, again, hugely, hugely thankful, because, I mean, I don't want to say how much we've put in, but it was a figure that initially I wasn't expecting. Ended up being a little bit more, but it's been fantastic, and I can't be any more thankful. Really can't be.
Oh, we're touched. We're touched by those great words there, Michael. Well done. Love that. And Sarah, any other business? I want to mention, of course, this is your second season at the club. How has the second season been so far? And yeah, any other business?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been really enjoyable. As we were saying before, I'm nearly at half a century, so hopefully that'll come up soon. And yeah, we can push on for a successful season. And just thanks to our supporters, and Happy Christmas and Happy New Year to them as well.
Definitely. Blue, take it away then to outro the pod. This is before Christmas, so of course from me, Merry Christmas, and bring and look forward to the last pod of 2022. Of course, we've got big review show, big quiz. Me and Blue go head to head, so look out for that. But yeah, Blue, take it away.
Firstly, thanks, Sarah and Michael, for joining us. It's been great to have two guests on, bounce ideas off. So yeah, thanks a lot for your time. As always, Ross, co-host / real host. I'm not taking it away from you. I don't want it. But yeah, thanks for listening. If you don't catch us on the review, a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll catch you in Jan.